guest, Christine Gaby, who's a member of Gym Hub. If you haven't been to an Accelerate session before, the idea of this one is to go to a member who's doing particularly well inside the program and have the opportunity to get some like real world on the tools, like running a gym, tips and strategies. But number two, I think it's always good just to check in and compare what we're doing. It's good to walk away with a bit of inspiration. So yeah, welcome to the call, Christine.
Thanks, Steve. Thank you. I can't see anybody. Am I meant to see anybody? No.
It is just a bit of a setting thing, so don't worry. We'll get everyone on there. I think there's about 60
options.
People live on the call, and we are recording this as well,
Okay.
which will be in the members area by Friday if you if you want to watch it again, guys. So Christine, for anyone that you haven't had a chance to sort of connect with in the members Facebook group, or even people that you might have met sort of face-to-face before, tell us a bit about your gym. Where are you based? And what type of services do you do?
Okay, so we're in a place called Dodgers Ferry, which is we're about 35 minutes out of Hobart in Tasmania, so about 35 minutes out of the capital city. 8 years ago, I started the gym, and I've got to say that when we first opened Healthy Horizons, like people thought, why would you open a gym out there? I remember someone telling me once that don't people only smoke drugs and drink alcohol at Dodgers Ferry? So there was this, why would people visit a gym? It is classed as regional. We have a population of about 2,500 people in Dodgers Ferry, but there are obviously surrounding spaces as well. So the gym, when we initially opened, we were focused on group fitness, and group fitness was the major component of what we did. We still run around, I think it's about 35, 36 group fitness classes a week, with a little bit of PT and a little bit of small group training on the side. As the business has evolved, it's becoming, group fitness is still really important to us. But I guess hence the reason why I'm in this program is that we want to do more value adding for our clients and have more of a focus on personal training and more of a focus on small group personal training. So that's kind of where we're heading with that. We've got a cafe, we have child mining, our membership is from 14-year-olds up to 80-year-olds. We have a physio that works on site. We have a business that runs their EP and physio with us. We have massage services. So we kind of value add in that way as well. So we're looking at being kind of like your one-stop shop to wellness, I guess.
It's really good to sort of hear that journey around how you sort of started and now you're sort of changing, or you're putting a little bit more focus into certain areas. Do you mind, like before we sort of kick off, was there a reason? Like, is there a certain thing that made you want to put a bit more focus into things like selling personal training?
Yeah, a couple of things. I guess one is obviously the results that your client's going to get. So we know, and we saw the evidence when our clients were coached, they got better results in every way. Not just physically, they were more committed, they were, more likely to achieve whatever goal they were searching for. They were more linked to us, and they were more likely to sustain a membership over a long period of time. So that was a big focus because we wanted our clients to get better results. I think the second thing is that we have about a 500 square metre building, and we realise that we are close to, kind of getting a bit squashy at times. So we want to have probably less members, but more of those members value adding to their membership and making more money that way, rather than just always trying to get more members.
I love it. It's something we often get sort of swept up in, because you start with that goal of, a certain number of members inside the building, and you work towards that. And I think we just keep that from that's our pre-sales mentality. That's our mentality usually for the first kind of 2 years or so until you get to capacity. But we often forget that there's sort of three ways to grow a business. One is to get more members. The second one is to reduce churn, or the ones that are sort of going out the back door. And the third one increase the average spend. So if, instead of paying, you know, $15 a week, if we can actually get each member up to $25 a week, we don't actually need more members at that point to be more profitable. That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So a much better strategy for us going forward. Yep.
Yeah. So guys, if you've just joined us, we're doing an Accelerate session. We're with Christine Gaby. She's based in Tasmania. She shared her initial goals were around sort of group training and sort of building the business up around community and real high engagement and interaction for her business. She's put a little bit more focus into things like personal training of late. The big reason is to try and increase the amount of results. Christine, with results, what's a fallout do you think of that? What's a side effect of getting more results for people if you can to get some more personal training and some higher average spend inside your business?
Yeah, I guess a couple of things. Obviously, your members become your raving fans. So you've got people out there, and you can imagine being in a small regional area like we are in. You know, our members sell our memberships. Word of mouth is huge for us. So yes, social media is great, but really we are counting on our members to be our raving fans. It's not unusual for someone new to walk in the door and we're doing the tour and showing them around, for one of our members to go, oh my God, you've got to join, blah, 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 blah. You know, they'll put in their 2 cents worth. The other big thing for me is being able to create more opportunities for my staff. So just being able to, I've put my second person on full time. I'm actually wanting to put more people on full time and have them be able to just work for me. So I guess that's a big goal for me as well. As we get more personal training, I get more hours, I get more opportunities to employ those people and have them exclusively work for us.
Yeah. Look, it gives them more variety, doesn't it? Your staff, where they can do a bit of group and they can do some personal training, they can earn some more money. So it keeps it interesting for them. But it's, so just to recap, looking at sort of plugging in some additional revenue by getting some personal training in there. The fallout of that is when people get better results, they actually are walking billboards. They're walking around with your Healthy Horizons t-shirts and stuff on. They're referring their friends. When you refer your friend, you can't really drop out yourself, you know, so it's a good retention tool to sort of keep people glued in as well. So
absolutely.
Very cool. Tell me, what are some of the results you've sort of managed to achieve in the last 4 months or 6 months even? And yeah, why are you sort of, why is it important to you that you've been able to achieve that?
Yeah, so a big goal that that I was aiming for was 400 members. Now, it actually wasn't that long ago when we were aiming for 300 members. And when I say it wasn't that long ago, it seriously was about 8 months ago. We struggled. We would hit 300, we'd drop under. We'd hit 300, we'd drop under. And it was this kind of continuous cycle for a number of years. I'm really happy to say on the eve of our 8th birthday, which was last Friday, we reached 400 members. We've actually gone past that already from that birthday. So I guess that's what I've said before, and people would understand with rapid growth, it's amazing, it's fantastic, it's exciting, but we don't want to lose sight of the things that make Healthy Horizons. We really value our service that we provide to our clients. I personally, as the owner, want to know everybody individually by name. And when I start to feel like I'm losing that connection, I think, oh God, who's that person that's just walked in? Then I feel like, okay, we actually probably need to put the brakes on driving membership and put some more effort into providing that service. So 400 members was a huge goal for us. Reaching 8 years was a huge goal for us, because I can tell you, and anyone that's starting out in business, like seriously, the first 3 years was struggle street for us. And you know, anyone who's feeling that at the moment, I have been that person that has paid my staff from a credit card. So it was not unusual for me to get to, you know, the day of paying everybody and, you know, there was no money in the bank. So we have been on struggle street. We've certainly had you know, that, I'm just wondering what that big clang was. It's my son coming home. So, right, I'm on a call, Dale. Can you just give me a little bit of time? Thank you. Just come home from school. So yeah, we've been there, done that. We now obviously, are financially feeling, really, really sound with things, and, really, it's just improving all the time. Another huge goal, I think, has actually been to employ a second manager. We call Jess the manager of training. So I have a general manager, I have a manager of training. Now, what I didn't know when I employed that second person full-time was how much of a team that created. So I just didn't have one manager and then everybody else. I now have two managers. So that's been huge. I didn't realise how important that was for the other manager, to feel like she had someone who was, I guess, yeah, they're working with her on all of those goals and things as well.
They feel like they're part of a team, and not everything kind of rests on their shoulders, but as long as they play their role in the team, they're going to succeed. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Not everyone has the thing that sort of helped you to do it. I guess when you add, there's 7 years getting to 300 members in the last 18 months, or last 8 months, sorry, you add 100 members, it actually gives you choice, doesn't it? Where you've got enough cash flow to bring someone in.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, even if it's not like a full-time manager or a second full-time leader or whatever, it's still someone who gets to experience doing some leadership roles, gets to experience doing things other than delivering classes or sort of personal training, so they feel like they're growing, gives them a little bit of a career path, but it also helps them feel like they're sort of, they're part of a team. I think personally, it's more
absolutely
team rather than sort of one person running the show.
Yeah, I was just going to say, that I couldn't agree with you more. The support of each other, that's been fantastic. And then when you mentioned the cash flow and it gives you more options, and you mentioned this, I think, in one of the write-ups that you did, but we are now in the process. We've got our plans into council, just waiting on getting our certificate of likely compliance to go through, and we are building a new studio off the front of our building, a wellness studio. So that will incorporate heated yoga and meditation, and really having a wellness focus as part of our studio. So that's kind of the next stage, and that's what those extra 100 members have really done to our business. It's given us the confidence that we are on the right track here, we are growing, and how else can we capitalise on that, really?
So good. Let me fire a couple of questions that sort of came to me straight away. And if you are watching the video at the moment and you have a question for Christine or myself, be sure to go into chat, type it in there now, and I'll look to ask them to Christine while we're sort of on that topic. So my first question, if you go from like 300 to 400 members, what does that change in actual cash flow? What are you charging most members kind of per week?
Yeah, so our membership rate is $25 a week. That's so for Tasmania, regional Tasmania, that's actually a good weekly rate. In fact, it's a lot higher than a lot of the people in the city are. Yeah, and then obviously we have value adding on top of that as well, with people doing PT, some people on a premium package, and some people are doing our small group personal training as well. In cash flow, like seriously, this year I probably will end up clearing about 250K more than what we did the previous year. I'm on track to at least do that, if not more.
So good.
The following year, I was going to say, when we have our studio, that'll be another 250K on top of that.
We sometimes sort of forget that. For those guys that are sort of building up your business at the moment, it's kind of unfair, the curve. When you sort of first start, you're doing so many hours and you're putting so much effort, and you don't actually see much return at all. But because in a fitness business, the expenses are fixed, because, once you've got 35 classes like Christine does, your job is just kind of filling them. You don't actually need to double to 70 classes.
No.
So with an increase from 300 to 400 members, your actual expenses don't change too much. So like the curve when you first start is kind of very slow in terms of very small amount of profit and sort of benefit from it. And then you actually start to go up really, really steep where when you put an extra 100 members on now, you see not only an extra $130,000 in annual turnover, bit of room to sort of put on perhaps a 2IC for your manager or a second manager or something. There's also like just a lot of it's profit. It's profit that you can reinvest into a yoga studio, or it's something you can just spend on you and your family. So well done. My second question, employing like a second manager, tell me a little bit about that. What helped you to sort of feel like maybe it was the right time to get someone else in the business ready for some sort of leadership roles and not just have one person helping with that?
I guess it came from that wanting to build up the personal training and small group training of the business, and realising that I really needed. I had a great personal trainer, and I felt that if I gave her that role, that she would just take that on. She's amazing. She can sell anything to anyone and they don't even know they're being sold to. But not only that, she is so passionate about changing people's lives. So she's so genuine that people trust her 100%. So it was the right person to the right fit, and it was it just made a lot of sense. She's really big on a goal. So if I set her a goal, so we've got a team PT goal at the moment that we're aiming for, and once we hit that number, we'll head to the next number. So she's personally huge on goals. So that's what really rocks her world, rather than always giving her more money. And of course, everyone likes to earn more money, but I understand that that's just part of the equation for her. She wants to, kick those goals, and it's a big motivator for her.
So good. Why don't we just pause there for a second? I'm interested to get some feedback from the rest of our gym owners and managers that are on the call. What's a takeaway? What's something small you've actually taken away from our Q&A with Christine so far this morning? Whether it's kind of relating to particular goals that she's been able to sort of achieve, choices around managers, putting a bit more focus around things like PT, knowing who to get involved. Let's get some feedback. Now, Alec Drafford said a takeaway for him was less members spending more money. So there's different sort of models. You can put 100% on your focus on membership, and you just focus on that. But I always feel like there is a point where it's actually easier and much easier to manage, but it's also far more profitable just to then increase the average spend than it is to get twice as many sort of members through the door. Because it might be a space restriction. It might be just like from a management point of view, how many you can actually get inside the business. The guys at Barbell Samurai said that it's cool to know that managers have a goal focus, or the person that you look to hire was goal focused. And he's asked, how did you work that out? So we'll come back to that in a second. Good to look at other avenues for income. David and Caroline in Perth, getting people into the right place, building the team. Take time to build the business. Service is the number one priority.
Definitely.
All right, so let's keep the conversation moving. So the ones that sort of stood out for me, you said that you felt like that second staff member, you just kind of had a gut feel that she was ready for it. You said that she'll sign someone up and they don't even know they're being sold to. And I was about to jump in and say, like, how is that? How is she managing to do that? You answered it. You told me that she was genuine. She was passionate about, actually transforming people and helping people. I think that in itself is a real point of difference. There's no scripting. There's no kind of, daily training or anything you have to do. She's actually someone that just believes in the product. And I think that sort of comes across really good. The other stuff that sort of jumped out, I think, is looking for ways to. You spoke about $25 per week per member, which is higher than what other gyms will do. It's higher than what some of the guys in Tasmania are doing right in the middle of the city. However, because there's that service, because of the staff who are so big on actually delivering on the culture and the actual service and family and stuff in there, it makes it easy to sort of justify that price. Very cool. One of the things that you shared in wins, like on a Friday we share wins when we come back. And tell us what you sort of knocked off at the end of the week. One of your wins a couple of months ago, you said that you managed to dart away with your husband to celebrate something. You took some time off from the business. What were you away for? Where did you go? And how did your business go while you were gone?
Yeah, okay. So we were away for about 16 days. We have had longer holidays than that, but we went to Darwin, Kakadu, then to Bali. So we had a beautiful trip away, and it was for my husband's 50th. So big celebration for his 50th. And yeah, look, so I sat down with my managers and we had some really big key strategies that we organised before I left. So everything was still ticking over when I was gone, but man, it more than ticked over. So what we kind of did was set up a little bit of a banter, a bit of a, the boss is away, we're going to play kind of thing. And so the idea was that they told all the members that they call me Big M, as in Big Mama. I'm only 5 foot nothing, so really I'm not a big mama, but anyway.
Yeah, I can tell. I've watched you belt out about 15 chin-ups in one go.
So the banter was, I sent a message to all the members saying, look, Big Mama's off Facebook for a couple of weeks. She's having a break. She's having a holiday. So we're in charge. We're letting everyone have free access for a week. So they told all the members to bring all their friends in for 1 week. We have never had a free week at Healthy Horizons, might I say, in 8 years. So it was really special. It was like, we're in charge. We're doing something really naughty. And so I think if you do stuff like that all the time, people just wait, they'll have another free week. They'll have another free week. Well, we've never done it in 8 years. So it was pretty out there. So we had, I think, over 100 people visit us in that free week. And we had, I actually, off the top of my head, can't remember the number of sign-ups, but we got a heap of sign-ups from it as well. So it was really successful. We also ran, there was a pina colada day. There is an actual thing called a pina colada day in America, believe it or not. So on July something or other is pina colada day. So they decked out our cafe ready for pina colada day. So what we did was make pineapple healthy protein smoothies as our pina coladas, and we just had one day where they had a special pina colada bar, and so that was a day when a lot of these free people come in as well. So there was something special, something quirky going on, and they knew that we weren't just your average gym, that there was different things happening. So the time I was away, they were nuts. It was really, really busy. The other thing I did, which I haven't ever done before, is I set my manager's goals. And I'd never done that before. Sorry.
Because I want to chat to you a bit more about the conversation you had with those leaders before you went.
Yeah.
But just to I guess point out a few things that I've observed. So one is that rather than sort of just meeting and saying, hey, this is the roles that I usually do, you've actually given them a bit of strategy. So you've actually said, while I'm away, here's a marketing strategy. Here's something that we haven't done before, something that's actually themed. So like the thing that baffles me in terms of like consumerism is after we've spent literally millions and millions of dollars at Christmas, we have these things called a Boxing Day sale, and people will race out and buy things again. And the only reason it works is because it's like a thing now. They've actually come up with a theme or a reason why there should be a sale now on Boxing Day. So one of the things we can do around marketing to help people to feel like this is extraordinary is put a bit of a theme on it. I know you did one when the Avengers movie came out. You had everyone dressed up in their Avengers outfit, and you're posting like one thing an hour of people in their Avengers, like these incredible kind of, what do you call them? Like outfits.
Yeah.
And it was just different. And because of that, people were like coming in to actually sign up and trial the gym, where other gyms were like, oh, it's, you know, it's July. Like no gyms grow in July. Yeah, bullshit. Gyms do grow in July.
Absolutely. We grow heaps in July. Yeah.
So it's freezing in Tasmania. You're actually away for 16 days. Yet you've given your team an actual cool strategy and something that they can take ownership of and run with. The second one was that, like the Pina Colada Day, it's just all about engagement. It's something you can
absolutely
grow on Instagram. It's something you can chat to people about. It's a bit of fun. Believe it or not, I reckon our members want that in a gym, not just access to our equipment.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Tell me, what was the conversation you had, other than sort of giving them the ideas around Pina Colada Day and maybe, you know, the boss is away, like marketing strategy? What were some of the things you spoke about with your senior staff before you went, which maybe gave them the confidence or gave them the ability to succeed while you were gone?
Yeah, look, the conversation was about having lots of fun with it. Like, there wasn't any, I want X amount of sign-ups from this free week.
Great.
Let's just have a lot of fun with it. Let's not take it too seriously. You know, we're going to be getting lots of leads from the new people that come in. They all have to sign their pre-screening form. So we got all their information. We could follow up with that at a later date. But yeah, it really was about having a lot of fun and just engagement and, you know, making people, I always say to people, my staff, that people will forgive you for all sorts of things, but they won't forgive you if you're not kind and friendly. So that is our core thing. We are kind and we are friendly, and we treat people like that as soon as they walk in the door. So, you know, it's just, you know, it's heads up. People walk in the door, it's eyes up to them instantly. It's not none of this, you know, typing away on your computer, you know, and, you know, making them wait for 5 seconds. None of that. It's got to be instant engagement, big smile on your face, and it's genuine. It's not a fake smile. It's got to be really genuine, that engagement. So that's huge for us. And so, you know, all these people coming in who've been members of other gyms where, you know, literally haven't been treated like human beings with a big smile and a friendly hello, you know, they instantly could feel this is a different place to work out. I want to be here. And so when we followed up, that was easy for us to convert those people to members. I was going to say the big thing was that I did, so that was just about having fun, but they did have a few key goals, and we just introduced a premium package membership, which involved 2 PTs and membership at, I don't know, $118 a week or something like that. And I said, I want 2 people signed up on that. I wanted our small group, which is six per group. We call it our focus resistance training group. So I wanted that full, and they did that. They did that, and they were so proud. You know, they sent me a message while I was on holiday saying, yeah, come on, you need to set us a bigger goal than that. We've done it, sort of thing. So it was good. Yeah.
I love it. So like there's part of it where you've actually given them a bit of a strategy to help people come through the door, rather than saying, you know, I need a minimum of 30 sales. Instead, you've actually set them little targets and things so they feel like they're succeeding and they feel like they're actually doing well, and they can't wait to text you via messenger or something on your holiday. Hey, we just smashed that. Cheeky. I love the fact that you know what that core value is around sort of treating people the right way. You know, for that reason, you can have high standards around your staff doing the same thing. You tend to attract people who are like the people that like you. So if they see you interacting with people and really going above and beyond in terms of service and connection and making people feel good, they actually know how to behave when you're not there. Whether that's you just want to finish at 2 o'clock, you're not at work at the moment. I can hear the dog barking in the background. Honestly, like that it's not just about holidays, but it's about you having time to duck away and do stuff like this. It's about me being able to do it. I'm not at my gym today, but again, I can feel confident because we've actually got really clear around something that's important to us in terms of our standard. we've demonstrated it, and then we're hiring people that like share in the same values and who are kind of passionate about what they do as well, so it doesn't come across as false.
Absolutely.
I imagine there's probably someone on the call that would love a holiday. They're been on the grind, and you know, you've done it, I've done it, where you haven't taken a break for a while and you're belting out 60 plus hours a week. What do you think's kind of holding them back? Is there like one or two tips you could give in order for them just to get organized so that they could go away, maybe have 5 or 7 days off coming into Christmas?
Yeah. I guess, to have a strategy and have, I guess, to me, it's these 8 years, I guess, has really been about building amazing leaders, and I like to call them superstar leaders. Once upon a time, I've come from a group fitness background. So once upon a time, I wanted to be the superstar who was taking the group fitness. That was really important to me. I wanted to be the best PT. I wanted, that, and I thought I was, that's my ego coming into all of that. But now, I want to be a business owner.
Love it.
So no longer do I want to be taking PT. I don't take any one-on-one PTs. I don't take any group fitness. But I have worked and worked and worked to get a team of people who are brilliant. In fact, most of them are better than me at everything now, I would say. But once upon a time, I was the person doing all of that. I don't want to do any of it anymore. The only thing I do that is locked in for my business is I take, I think it's 5 sessions a week of small group personal training. So that's a high-end payment for us. It's 5 hours a week that I've got locked in. Every other hour that I have in my business is working on my business. And it could be just standing there and having conversations with people. Okay. Continuing that link and that community feel. So I'm not doing the one-on-one, grind. I'm not spending all my time and energy, in the group fitness room. Yes, I'll fill in if people are sick, of course, that's, I'll do that, but I'm not locked in every week. And I think that's the thing. As business owners, we've got to spend, it doesn't happen overnight, but spending more and more time going, okay, so what are the musts? What are the things that, I must have in my life to make it happy? So I thought that through, and it was things like I must go on a holiday every year, at least one with my family. I must, it was a little thing for me, like I must be home when my children get home off the bus. They're teenagers now. So if I wasn't going to be home at 3:30, 4 o'clock to have a conversation with them, I mightn't have had the opportunity to have a conversation with them at all. So I created, I think I had 5 simple musts. So I would say create your musts and then work your business around those musts.
Let's do this, guys. What are your musts? I want you to write down 3 musts in the chat for me. What are things that you need to have as part of your week in order for you to be happy, to be fulfilled, to be inspired, to be the best version of you? I want you to go into chat and type them in for me.
I even had things like I must have time, to train every day. I must have time to walk my dog on the beach. It was really simple things, but it creates happiness. And again, once you're thriving and once you're humming and once you're happy, it's amazing what energy that puts in to your family, to your business, to everything really.
So good. I'm typing mine in now. So for me, it's an overseas holiday every year. One of the things that Anna and I love to do and our kids love to do is travel. We love to experience new stuff. New languages, new food. We love to sort of, just get outside. We live in a really beautiful place, but I love meeting people and chatting to different people and finding stuff out. So number 1 was overseas holiday for me. Number 2 is always home by 5 p.m. I like that sort of time. I like taking our new dog out. I love, daylight saving where you can get down the beach and sort of get in the water and it's nice and warm. And that's a good way to connect with the kids where it kind of forces me to turn my phone off and actually just like divide the day up. the third one I would say is around training. I like the best version of me is probably 4 or 5 sessions a week. And if my business has in the past, so I remember the first 18 months in business, we were like just signing people up, going crazy, doing everything, opening, closing. Business was growing, we're putting on more staff, but I was probably the most unfit person in the building in that first.
Yeah, I can relate.
Yeah, I hated that. And I realized like when my son was born, I didn't actually have time to stop. My wife had a cesarean. So she's in hospital for like 5 days. And it actually, I was thinking in my head, oh, that actually suits me because I can then just go up and visit them and I can get back to work. Like the mentality was all back to front.
Yeah, absolutely.
When my daughter was born, like a couple of years later, I literally just took 3 weeks off. I said, guys, you're in charge. And they loved it. They had that opportunity. I want to get some more. So Clara said, have time to train, walk the dog, and travel. Clara and Roger, I'd love you guys to be more specific. Brownie, for yourself, you said like to train as well. I'd love, like, you don't have to write it in there now, but I encourage you to actually get really specific. So for me, I like to do 1 yoga session a week. I love to get on a bike once a week. I'm someone that's quite physical from playing contact sports. So there needs to be like moving some steel or boxing or something like that. Yeah, so try and find out, but also specifically, when you say a holiday, what are you going to do? We just booked San Diego in March to go to like this fitness convention. Yeah, we'll do that for like 2 days and then we'll have a holiday.
Nice. Yeah, nice. Yeah.
That's deductible. Very cool. All right, let me pick your brain some more. So what are a couple of ways that you create that community? So you've said hiring staff which are passionate and authentic and love helping people. Anything else you're doing to sort of get this feel where people are paying a bit more, but they're also like just treating your business good even when you're not in there?
Yeah, so I guess, like it's comes down to the leaders, well, Jamie and I as well, as the business owners, the leaders, it comes down to the team and how we treat each other as a team. That's huge. You kind of mentioned it before about the crazy things that we do. Like we do some crazy shit. I've already got my Oktoberfest outfit ready for. We do things like people don't even know we're dressing up. So that Avengers Day, the launch of the Avengers movie, no one knew. The members just started turning up and we were all dressed up as the Avengers for the day. They're like, what the, is going on?
Sure.
And then, of course, it gets posted on Facebook or whatever, social media, and then all of a sudden everyone starts coming in because they want to see what's going on and the fun and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, we do lots of special things like, even every winter solstice, I make a heap of soup for my members. And they know that every winter, my husband always comes in on that day and he's serving our members up free soup. It's homemade, it's made from us, it's made with care and love, and they love it. They come in and sit down and have a cup of soup. Sorry?
It feels like a family. You're making soup for them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we try really hard, to make them feel like part of our family. Even on our 8th birthday, even though it was a celebration for us, we tied it in with a fundraiser for a young girl in our community who's has a rare form of cancer. Yeah. So it was a part of our giving back as well. I'm sure lots of people do that, part of that giving back, but that's important. We run a fun run every year, the Healthy Horizons Fun Run, which is tied with the Colton Park Surf Lifesaving Club. So, again, Colton Park Surf Lifesaving is part of our community, and we run a fun run with those guys. And we just celebrate our members, we celebrate our staff a lot. Like, I don't know if you saw it, Steve, or not, but I just wrote last week, every staff had a write-up last week about the special qualities that they bring to Healthy Horizons. I love it. And then we do the same with our members and just really try to celebrate their achievements, no matter how big or how small they are. Yeah.
It's fascinating because I think when we talk about recruitment and high-performance teams, everyone starts thinking, well, how much is that going to cost me? At the end of the day, recognition is so powerful. They say babies cry for it and men die for it. You know, they go to
and
war to get a little
seriously,
recognition.
What I'm finding is that in this world that we live in, more and more people aren't getting the recognition. They don't get it at work. They may not get it from at home. Provide that, you might be the only place that is making them feel good about the contribution that they're giving. It's, we're always judging ourselves, aren't we? And judging ourselves to what's going on social media. So, be out of the box. Make people feel good. Make people think, oh, I've got to get to the gym because that's the only place I'm going to feel good all day.
Yeah, the big thing that sort of resonates with yourself is that you're setting these standards for your team, and then that emanates across your 400 members. You're recognising your team, and therefore they play the role and get involved in recognising your members. You're actually, putting some time and investing into them, showing them that little extra care, giving them some trust and some opportunity to take roles and stuff. And like members love it as well. They get involved in fundraisers and do stuff like that. So good.
A really simple way I do that too is that we've just got a group chat on Facebook, and it would be daily that I would post something in there about someone on the staff that I've recognised. Hey, I just saw Sam in child mining today. She made blah, blah, blah feel amazing, whatever it might be. But I recognise that staff member. I recognise what they did. Every other team member gets on there and goes, oh, well done, Sam, you're amazing in there, blah, blah, blah. So just recognising those little things makes people feel really good.
So good.
And that's a simple strategy. Yeah.
What I want to do is prompt everyone to share one idea. What was something perhaps you heard from Christine, or maybe it even triggered a fun idea in your head? What's one thing you could do to try and cultivate this feeling of family inside of your business? Write down something fun, write down something perhaps maybe you haven't done it before, but you plan on doing it. Write it in the chat for me.
One day, a few years ago, I was just going to give someone an idea. We went out, my husband, myself, and my 2 children, we went out and we cleaned everyone's windscreens in their car in the car park. We just, it was just a Sunday morning. We went out and cleaned all their windscreens, and people were in there thinking, what are they doing to my car? We just cleaned their windscreens. And we just said, oh, we just want to clean your windscreens because we really appreciate that you're here. It's just quirky little things like that.
But there's a certain service that they expect. The only things they remember are the things we do over and above the things that they expect. So if they're paying for a fob tag and 24-hour access, that is the bare minimum that the relationship has to align by. We can't usually charge them more per week than other gyms if that's the only thing we're doing. We can't usually expect them to stay for more than like a 12-month contract if that's the only stuff that we're doing. Sean said arrange some social events that are for staff and members. Specific. Sean, what's one social event you could organise for your members? Cameron, recognise clients' birthdays. Be specific, Cameron. How could you recognise their birthdays? Rick said that they do group fitness for families during school holidays, so members don't have to put their membership on hold and they can bring their kids along.
Nice.
Great one. Cameron said he's got a VIP Facebook group. I think that's great. I always find that you can create those little groups in Facebook. People will share a little bit more because they're not kind of randoms looking at them, but they've sort of worked their way in. Sean says that he's thinking about a barbecue in the park across the road. In my experience, I've done we've done like $80 a seat ballroom style Christmas dinners where they sort of pay to come along, and we give them like an Eventbrite link. They use the link via SMS and email. They pay for it and they come along. But it's like $80. It's a fair amount of money. We'd spend like $3,000, get like a jazz band. People love that stuff. Don't get me wrong. They love sort of celebrating, getting all dressed up. At the same time, we've done days where we've just done like bring all your family and friends to like a group training class like boxing. We've literally done like sausages on the barbecue down there. had board games and just like fun stuff for the family, and that's rated just as highly. One costs all of like $100 in sausages, and the other one's like a lot more time and effort. Do one work better than the other? Not really, but I think it's just about sort of finding variety. Clara, birthday. Clara said that she's going to acknowledge people on their birthday and give them birthday burpees. I'm like, shit, please don't know my birthday. Skip me on that one. Very cool.
We actually make a smoothie. Everyone gets sent a message, obviously, but we make them a birthday smoothie for their birthday, or it's put on their account. So when they're in next, they can have a birthday smoothie on us. And we do the same thing at Christmas, send them a little birthday card and give them a free cup of coffee or cup of tea or whatever. So that voucher gets used. They love that. They bring that back in. Oh, thank you so much for, it's a coffee, for God's sakes. It probably costs, I don't know, $1.50 or something, but they love that. I was just going to say, like, the whole thing about being random and unpredictable, I think is really important. So most of us would do something around Christmas and people's birthdays, but it's that random and, turn up one morning to train and here you are cooking, I don't know, eggs and bacon roll for your team or something. But that random, oh my God, my coach cooked that for me today. How lovely was that? The fruit salad and yogurt for breakfast one morning when they rock on up, unexpectedly. So I think that's a really important part of those special events that you plan. And we seriously try to have at least one a month. But often it's more than one a month. Something quirky, something different. It's all in the marketing calendar, and we just pull it out. Watch out for Oktoberfest. Yep.
Let me repeat that, guys. It's in the marketing calendar. It's interesting because we often don't think of those types of things as marketing.
Absolutely.
What we need to do is allocate some budget from our marketing budget to keeping our existing members. You pay about $1 out of 10 to keep your existing members. You acknowledge them with a shake or something on their birthday, or you do something fun or cool. It costs so much less to actually just keep them and make them feel special than it does to attract someone new. Let's change gears before we jump off the call. How do we attract more people? So let's say someone else wants to add 100 members to their gym in the next 8 months, like you've done. What is something you've done that's been effective to get more people come through the door and obviously eventually sign up?
So I think one of the most important things that is, seriously, there's a huge correlation between this and getting more people through the door. And it's when I do more videos and when I do more live videos on Facebook.
Wow.
It's not something I'm hugely comfortable with. And if you're, it's not something that to start with, I was doing lots of umming and ahhing and probably talking a bit of crap. But what I try to do now is target my market. So if I'm getting on and doing a Facebook Live, so for instance, I did one about mums, and I talked about a personal story when I was a new mum and the struggle I had to try to, get to the gym and the problems that created and how I didn't have any time for myself. So I built up that problem, that situation that a lot of new mums have, that feeling of isolation, that feeling of, am I doing this right? I just want some time for myself. And as soon as I do videos like that, guarantee that market comes in. So I've done the same targeting older adults and talking about, the importance to build lean muscle and maintain our lean muscle as we get older. So I kind of pick a target, kind of pick what I want to talk about in that Facebook Live, and that really works. It really works. So if you're not doing video, I would first of all just do them not live, so you feel happier about it, because that's certainly what I did, and then get on and try to get more confident with doing live. People don't necessarily want you just on there rambling. If you're just on there talking poo, they're not going to listen to you. They're going to soon, whiz past. So have a target, have a focus, I would say, when you get on and do that. That's a huge strategy for me personally. I just see the correlation. When I invest some time in that, the traffic flows through. I put things down like I don't know if anyone is thinking about doing something for Mental Illness Awareness Week, which is on the 6th to 12th of October. So it's in a couple of weeks' time. Actually last year, and we won't do this year because we actually don't want to get more members at the moment, believe it or not. So what we did is we actually went to our members and we said, hey guys, do you know someone that's struggling? It was an email that was talking around, you know, mental awareness, mental health, talked about the week. If you know someone that's struggling, how about you buy them a 30-day pass? We'll go halves with you. So our 30-day passes are $100. We said, buy a friend, invest $50 in a friend. We'll buy the other half for your friend. Let's get them in. Let's get them moving. We talked about the research around movement and mental health and all those things.
Right.
So again, picking those important times, and as we know, mental health is huge. That I would say that has been, doing that strategy has been one of our most successful getting people in the door. When we did that, normally when we do 30-day passes, we haven't been great, but it was about, sorry, yeah, it was about people in
the theme. It's a reason.
Yes.
You know, the traditional strategy, every gym in Australia today is doing an offer. You know, discount, offer, come in, trial. You're actually thinking of something slightly different. Therefore, like if you do a video, they all of a sudden become interested in your promotion. If you do something around mental health, calling out certain people, and it might be just like who's doing it tough, like particularly
absolutely
mental health. I know Dev and Empower are doing a similar type of thing this month. I think it's a great idea. So this year we're just going to bring a friend in for a workout with you, have a cup of coffee afterwards for our mental health awareness. Right.
What else did I put down? Obviously we talked about the free week. In the month of August, we have a pop-up class on Friday night. I don't know about anybody else, but Friday night's always a bit of a dead time in the gym. Yep. So we've created a pop-up class on a Friday night, and we just had every pop-up class on a Friday night was, you know, bring a friend in with you for free, and that went great. So we went from having, you know, 6 people turn up to a class on a Friday night at 6:30 in freezing, you know, in the middle of winter freezing to, you know, 20, 25 plus. Which is a great strategy that we've used as well. So tapping into all those things.
So good. I love that there's probably equal amount of focus on retention, high engagement with your members, lots of and lots of like touch points as there is opportunities for new
absolutely
through the door. Really excited. To finish, I'm interested in just getting some questions from the group. If you have a question for myself or Christine, just type in yes into chat. I'll get your camera and your microphone on, and you can fire a question ad lib. I'm not sure whether Christine or myself will be able to help, but we can definitely try our best to do it. Rick, Sean, Lorraine, Clara, just write yes or put a Y in the chat box if you guys have a question. Christine, it's been fantastic listening to you. I guess share your story. Being a bit vulnerable and open is kind of hard. I speak at Philex every year. I think I saw you at Philex. I love going to things like that. But if I'm honest, the challenge is that no one really stands up and gives you like the behind the scenes kind of look at anything. They don't want to actually, like if their brand, let's say they're the head of Plus Fitness or something, if their brand is killing it, they don't actually want to give the keys to the city to anyone else in the room because that's their little head start. So I love your transparency around kind of sharing like actual strategies and actual things that you're doing. But I also love that kind of vulnerability where you share that it was really hard in the early years, and that, you know, you've had to through implementation and through actually like hard work and putting things into your calendar. It's being proactive that's actually turned it around and turned it into a nice little earner, but also like a business. I can see when you describe it that you're passionate about it and you love it. Hey, we've got a question from Clara and Roger. These guys own an F45 in Blakehurst in New South Wales. Can you hear me, guys? Roger.
Guys, How are you?
Hey, what's your question?
Look, I think it was just Clara and I just wanted to firstly say thanks. It's been a really great call. It's just opened our eyes to some of the things that we used to do, especially the random stuff. I just love the random.
Absolutely, yeah.
But how do you structure your randomness? Like, how do you do you sit down and go, hey, my next month's calendar is looking quite bare in terms of doing something that's a surprise for the members? Because I love the soup idea, I love the fruit thing, I love the barbecue. Like, that's all awesome stuff. I think that really, it's a little thing that goes a really long way. That doesn't take much. It doesn't take much money, so per se, if you just put the planning and the effort in up front.
Yeah, so I mentioned before that it's all in our calendar. So, you know, we've got it as part of our marketing strategy, you know, the things that are coming up, you know, the special weeks that might be devoted to, you know, there's men's health, there's women's health, there's all those sorts of things. And the randomness, you know, like my family's a big Avengers film, you know, they were getting so excited about the launch of it. And then I remember, I think it might have been at Filex, I thought, oh my God, we have to dress up for the Avengers. And yeah, and then just allowing that randomness and going with it. And I think you've got to get your staff on board with that, because they have to want to have fun with you doing it. And then, you know, the first time you do it, a couple of times, your members are going to probably think you've slightly gone crazy, but after a while, they're going to get into it. They're going to be waiting for the next thing that you do. Yeah, so it is. It's planned. It's in there. Sometimes we might pull something out, you know, quickly. Oktoberfest has been planned for a while. We knew it was coming. I was like, yeah, let's do it. You know, and we get on and we get our little costumes, and yeah, it's just fun.
Okay.
We spend a lot of time working, don't we? So we got to have fun with it. That's what you know, business gets so serious. We get so serious about stuff, but you know, I really think, you know, we've got to have more fun with it.
So let me put that together. So Roger, you need a 12-month calendar. So we actually call them retention calendars. You've also got like a 12-month marketing calendar, and they do kind of overlap a little bit. I go into my retention calendar, and twice a year I do a challenge. So that goes in February, and that goes in August. I go into my retention calendar, and in November, I do a Christmas party every year. I go into my calendar, and in the middle of winter, I think we do it in May or June, we do our fun run. So there's things like that have been a huge success in the past that we can go through and transfer from 2019 straight into 2020. The other stuff is where it's called piggybacking. So when it comes to sort of having fun in that, you know that you're trying to do something every month. You know that you're looking at your calendar and you're going, okay, well, September, we've crushed it. Well done. Cool, we did that. But October, geez, what are we going to do in October? So you're thinking like World Cup, where you're prompting everyone to come in their country's teams. You're thinking things like Ninja Warrior on TV, Survivor. You're thinking like, what's in the news at the moment that's kind of something to talk about. It could be like just random.
Final.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. There are some things that will come around during the year that you might not have planned, that you still need to be a little bit nimble and think about what's happening locally or across town to bring it to, because it might be relevant for your members. So I definitely think that, because we have done things in the past, like for example at Christmas we just did a pay it forward video where we actually randomly went into a cafe, and we actually stuck the phones into a corner, and we told the owner, hey, we're just going to actually, for the next 10 customers, we're actually going to pay their coffee, and you're going to tell them that we actually someone who just randomly paid for it, and just then see their reaction. So, and that went down really well, but it's just a random act.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's a great interview. There's a podcast called, I think it's How I Built This, or How They Built This. And it's, they're interviewing all these famous like CEOs and brand creators. And they talk about, there's a great interview about Airbnb. What they talk about at the start is they actually had to do non-scalable things up front in order to scale. So they said, they sat down, they had this discussion at one point around, you know, if people have been able to book like somewhere to stay, like on stays.com or on like hotels and stuff forever, like they've been able to do that for a long time. So if we're actually going to break through in the market, we need to be able to get some absolute faithful, some absolute amazing reviews that we can then use as part of our marketing to get more people to come in. So they sat down and they said, well, what would be like a 12 out of 10? What would be, and they said, well, if someone's interested in surfing, we'd organize for like a surfboard to be like hired in the actual foyer when they arrive at this beachside house. Or if someone says they're interested in wine tasting, we'd organize like a voucher, a discount voucher to a wine tour or something like that. They weren't thinking about, shit, what would happen if we actually go global? And it's one of the biggest things that ever happens. Instead, they're like, how do we actually look after all these amazing people at the start and get them actually talking about it? But it's fascinating. They kind of share their 13 and their 14 and their 15. And what it does is it gets your creative hat on. If you and Clara, Roger, can sit there, actually put your hat on and go, okay, we need something for October. If you don't come up with anything, go to your team. There's nothing more random than going to your team and saying, guys, I want your input. What's a fun way we could actually theme something for a dress up this month? What's a charity we could support? But yeah, actually get them involved if you can't fill it out. But I think if the first starting point, get a 12-month retention calendar. We've actually got one in the members area. It's just a little one-page document that you fill in. You've actually probably got some cool stuff already, so you don't even need to come up with 12. You've probably got 6 already that are fun. The random doesn't have to be every month. The random's kind of just outside of it, and you don't publicize it. You just let them come in and they go, wow, that's pretty nuts. October. That's a good question. Well done.
Thank you.
Any other questions, guys, before we let Christine go and enjoy the rest of her afternoon and dart off for the day? Just type in Y or yes if you've got a question. We'll get your microphone and your camera on, and you can fire a question at Christine.
I was just going to add, Steve asked me before, he said, what would be one business lesson that you've learned along the way? And obviously, I've been in business for 8 years now. And I wrote a heap of things down, and then I was having a conversation with my hubby about that. And I said, he said, oh my God, you know what it is. And he said, the number one thing is you have to invest in yourself. And that would be my biggest lesson that I've learned, because when I didn't invest in myself, when I didn't take myself to other workshops or invest in programs like Gym Hub and have coaching, things went stale and I went stale. So that is so important, investing in yourself, top yourself up, and then it's amazing how that flows through to your leaders, it flows through to your team, it flows through to your members and your life, really. So, just really important. If you haven't done that for yourself over this 12 months, you've got to start blocking out time to invest in yourself.
So good. It's something I've always wanted. I'm so impatient. I want things now. So any way I can find a shortcut, when I opened a gym, the first thing I would do is go and find someone with the same gym, and I would ask them, like, how are you doing that? And then I found out so-and-so had a really good sales conversion. How are you doing that? And it's, I'm reading books, I'm listening to podcasts, I could go to Filex. I'll speak at Filex again this year coming, but I'm interested to see what are some of the gyms in California and stuff doing that
Absolutely.
may be 6 months in front of us. So it's such a good tip, and I continue to pay a coach like $3,000 a month for ways to keep it fresh and sharpen it up. And ideas like the accelerator session come from actually getting out and seeing other cool ways to add value. So I just want to thank you on behalf of myself, Shine, who's on the call, but also all our Gym Hub members. Thank you so much for just being so open and great. It's kind of answering questions. great feedback, guys. I'm sure you got plenty of value. If you found it useful today, if you like these types of sessions, there's actually a post in the Facebook group that talks about like coming to this actual session today. I would love to hear your feedback in there. What was a takeaway? What do you like about it? That helps me when doing sort of future sessions like this to make sure we shape it and we make it really valuable for you. At the same time, I want to make sure that I'm asking questions that you're around marketing or retention or something like that you're going to get real value from. So Christine, you've been an absolute legend. Thank you to everyone else that logged in today. Enjoy your afternoon, guys, and I'll see you real soon. See ya.
Awesome. Thanks. Bye.